All to episode 2. So, what's happened so far? What have you missed? Well, we had a absolutely banging first episode with the guys from New Zealand and from Australia, and we're set for another 4 hours or so of entertainment, talking about what we're building for the 48, what's coming up, obviously, and having a bit of a chat as well with you, the audience. We had up to about 50 something people on the last stream, which is fantastic for the first episode. I think that's a record, if I'm honest. Loads of people from Australia and New Zealand. It was absolutely amazing to see those guys there. So that's fantastic. There may be some residue, if you like, of that in this episode, because it's still our brethren from Down Under's episode per se. Obviously, it's starting to get late now because remember, they started at 8 o'clock in the evening their time. Although it's only just coming up 2 o'clock in my time in the UK. So obviously the New Zealand guys have been packed off to bed, and the Aussie guys are going to join us for a couple of hours, maybe a little bit less, and then we're going to go through until we get to the next episode. But in the meantime, if you're watching, please make sure you make a comment, say hello. If you want to make a donation, the bits are just at the bottom of the screen here, all telling you what to do. We're raising money for Mods for Heroes. But I am joined in the studio with, at the moment, the lovely Steph. Hello, Steph.
Hello. Hello. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm doing really well. Obviously, I've not started my build yet because I start my build at 8 o'clock tonight. But you've been building, right?
Yep, I'm building with the Aussies.
So where are you up to? What are you doing?
I am doing the Airfix Spitfire Mark 12.
Mm-hmm.
The clip wing, that one.
Mm-hmm.
So, yep. Oh, fit is impeccable.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm not gluing it. Well, I'm gluing some of it, but most of it I'm using super glue.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm using my favourite, which is, let me flick cameras, then I can show you exactly what I'm up to. So I'm using my favourite Bob Smith tire glue, which is rubber super glue mixed with normal fluid super glue. Wrong way. Yep. And then that gives it that little bit of flexibility. And this is where I'm up to. So it's gone together really nice. With the fit is awesome. It's going to need very, very little sanding. It's basically out the box. The only things I've added so far are the seat belts.
Oh yeah, well, that's nice.
Which I've made from masking tape.
Okay.
And I've got a little board that I use for, there we go, cutting straight lines.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
I've used that to do them. And if you have a look, I don't know whether you can see, but let's try and get it in. No, you haven't got enough light in there. I've just put black pen marks on it to simulate the holes where they put the clips and everything. So yeah, that's where I am with that. So I'm just going to leave that to go off a bit, and I am going to move on to doing the wings.
Excellent.
So that's where I am.
Cool. I also have in the wings our lovely Mr. Marley. How you doing, John?
Namaste.
Bless you.
Namist. How are you?
I'm good. How did you get on with yourself? What have you been up to?
Well, so I'm building an earlier version of Airfix kit. So this is, believe, about 1990 boxing. It's a Mark 1 Spitfire. The early one with the unarmored windscreen, flat canopy, 2-blade prop, little things like that. It's fine. It's much the same as Steph. So I've got the fuselage together. It doesn't have the detail that his does. It does have a pilot figure. I decided to throw him in. Oh, he's probably a bit out of focus, but you get the idea.
Yep.
I'll change cameras. That'll be easier. So I decided to throw him in just because I could, really. Just get rid of that. Just give me a sec. Right. So yeah, he's sitting in there. I had to glue the prop on now because I wouldn't be able to otherwise. I mean, I could glue it, but yeah, it spins. That'll do. And the wing I've got together. It's a nice fit of the wing. Like this. It's funny that the flaps. You could have them down on this when they're not. They're only down on takeoff and landing. They keep them up on the ground. But the next step for me is fitting that, and it's pretty awful fit. So yeah, but that's fine. I'll just sort of be doing that for a couple of hours. I think trying to get all that before I go on with the undercarriage and everything else that matters. But it's going along okay. So horizontal stabs going next. Again, they don't fit so well. There's big gaps, but again, nothing I can't handle. It's all good. All good.
Excellent. Well done. We've just been joined by Craig, who I think is ready to jump in as well.
Yep. Sorry about that.
Indeed. Hi, Craig. How you doing?
Good. I think Ian's in the other the old stream still.
I'll go and get him in a minute. That's fine. So tell us where you're up to.
Okay. So I got the motor and cockpit together. And I'm just working on machine guns and getting the fuselage nearly together.
Excellent.
That's where I'm at.
Excellent. That's fantastic. Cool. Ian will be with us when he's with us. That's fine. So basically, just to keep everyone up to speed, I know some of you are in the audience have been watching. Maybe some of you are just joining. What's this all about? Well, let me explain. So this is our second part of our live stream that will be over a 48-hour period. When I say 48 hours, it's actually around about 70-odd hours because we started with the Australians and the guys in New Zealand at stupid o'clock this morning in the UK. And obviously, that's the time on Friday the 14th at 7:30 when we all get together in their time zone, which was correct. So if you're in a time zone, you're watching this, and you think, my God, it's 3 o'clock in the morning here. I've got ages to go. Then you're obviously in a part of the world in which you're going to have to wait. That's fine. But if you don't know or didn't know, all you got to do is just grab a model kit. It can be a 148 kit, or it can be anything you haven't started, and build along with us. Simple as that. You want to know a bit more information? The website's where you want to go. It is all the W's .48.48 nearly did it, .org. That's got all the information about the event, about the charity we're raising money for, Models for Heroes. The Just Giving page is a link in there as well. The Discord group, the Facebook group. Oh, there's so much, and all the auction stuff as well. Remember, so because there's three. Well, I say there's 3 auctions. There's more than 3 auctions this year. We have 3 time zones that have auctions. We've got the Australian auction, we've got the UK auction, and then we've got the American auction times 3. So if you're watching in the States and Canada, etc., by all means, tune into those. There will be an auction on every single day. So Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, there'll be an auction. And then there'll also, just because we can, there's a flash auction here and there as well. So that's pretty cool. Something to look out for. We're going to go through that a little bit in a minute. The lovely Steph is our auctioneer for Australia and UK. He's going to go through that in a minute or two. It gives me a chance to do a little bit of cleaning of my airbrushes, which is down here, and to stop talking because I'm sure you're bored of listening to me. I know my wife.
Never.
So let's have a quick look at the chat. The chat, there's 18 people watching. There's not 18 people commenting. Come on, say hello. Don't be shy. Duke is there. He said, I'm ready. Obviously, I put a message in first saying, almost ready to go live again. Are you ready? And of course, Duke says, yeah, I am. Of course I am. Harry's here again. Hello. Dieter is there. Sorry, Dieter. I did forget your name in the latter part of the episode last. Just my brain. Sorry. Dieter is there. He says, nice progress, Uncle Ozzy. Andy F is there as well. And he is saying, I stick my head in the spray booth and suddenly everyone buggers off.
Yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah, we all needed a break. Yeah, just to clarify on that, generally speaking, from now on in, The episodes will be 4 hours long, and we'll take a 30-minute break and then come back on another episode. So bear that in mind. This episode will be slightly longer by probably about 10-15 minutes, nothing more than that. And then we'll be back into the pattern. There is a change, talking about the timetable, there is a change in the episodes. I will advise you later about that. And the reason for that is to do with the auctions for the US. The UK have donated an hour of their time to the US because it saves them hosting. So why not? Plus also, as I said, there's lots of things to auction. So we'll go through that later on. Anyway, so last but no means least from me, there's 21 people watching, and Mark has just said hello from Canada. Greetings from Canada. Can't wait to get started. Hello, Mark. Thank you for saying hello. We have done really well with a good spread of people around the globe at the moment. We've had Singapore, we've had Norway, we have had Belgium, the Netherlands, obviously New Zealand and Australia. We've had some US. So we're doing really well. So say hello. It's really good.
It's wonderful, isn't it?
Brilliant. Jeremy says, saying good morning all from Idaho, talking about the US in Idaho in the US. Looking forward to getting started late tonight. Absolutely. And I should imagine, Jeremy, you're looking forward to those auctions. Whew, I would be. There's some cracking things going on. Now, the last thing I want to say about the auctions, and I'm going to hand over to Steph so he can talk to you all about the auctions. Are you ready to do that in a minute, by the way, Steph?
Yep. Give me a sec.
Cool. So the last thing I want to say about the auctions is there is a couple of things within the auctions. Now, generally speaking, we would say to you, if you live in the time zone area, bid. Bid hard, bid fast, bid like you want it. Because it's really important you do that. Because obviously we're raising money, but more importantly, you're supporting that time zone. But also on top of that, there are a couple of things in which you could potentially say you don't need posting to you. So if you're in a different time zone, it doesn't actually matter. Obviously, if you do bid on something that needs posting, you will be paying the postage. So if you should bid on something that's in the Australia auction, but you live in Canada, bear in mind you will be charged the full postage from Australia to Canada. That's not part of what you're bidding for. You are bidding for just the item. The postage is extra. However, like I say, there are a couple of items within the auction and certainly spread throughout the auctions in which are, I don't want to give anything away. They are something in which you could bid on and you won't incur extra costs. So I'm going to let Steph explain that a little bit further. I'm going to leave you to do the chat. I finished up to where the star is. And I will let you get on with talking to us about the auction, Steph.
Brilliant. Thank you very much. Right. So, auctions. There are rules. So, we will go through the rules first. So, let me add that up. There we go. Right. Auction rules. Only place a bid if you are located within the auction's designated region, as James has just mentioned. Bearing in mind that you pay the postage and the packaging. Next up, we have each lot will be open for bidding for 3 minutes. We did it for 5 minutes last year. We've cut that down by 2 minutes because of the amount of lots we now have. Next rule, the beginning and end of each bidding period will be clearly marked in the chat with start and stop. It won't be when we say start and we say stop because there is a slight delay. We've worked out that when you type start in the chat, it goes there, it goes straight away. So that is when it starts, that is when we stop. Any bids that come in after stop appears in the chat are disregarded. The highest bid visible to us at the close of the auction will be considered final and the winning bid. Please note that postage and packaging costs are not included in your bid amount. So to reiterate that, you have to pay for the postage and packaging. And finally, familiarize yourself with all the rules before participating in this auction. So, simple rules, dead easy to understand. So, let's go through the Australia auction. So,
Steph,
lot one. Yes.
Just out of curiosity, where can you find all this information?
You can find all this information at www. Thank you very much, Craig's dogs. You nailed it there. Well done, guys. Excellent job. Perfect. For those of you who get that was, if you go to www.48-48.org, you will find all the details you need for everything. So it's got about, posts, timetables, donors, social, albums, donate now, auction, and also merch if you feel like you need to get anything. So lot one will be from Metro Hobbies, which is a consumable pack which will have a Vallejo tool set, an Icky Sticky standing twigs, and it will also have Icky Sticky extra thin cement. Next up, lot two will be Hobbies Australia. Thank you very much. Oh, and thank you very much, Metro. Cheers, guys. Hobbies Australia, thank you, is the K9A 150mm self-propelled howitzer in 1/35th scale from Academy. Lot number three will be the 135th World War II British Army 30 cubic weight 4x2 GS truck from Airfix. Lot number four from Australia, from Hobbies Australia. Now this is, oh no, it's not this one. It's he's coming up further up. There's a new one. The US Navy PV-1 patrol bomber from Academy in 1/72nd scale. Lot 5 is from Metro Hobbies, the 124th A9X Tirano sealed body opening bonnet with engine plastic model kit. So thanks for that, Metro. Lot number 6, again from Hobbies Australia, thank you guys, is the Boeing P-8A Poseidon Academy in 1/44th scale. This is a brand new tooling. This has been out about a week and a half. So it's your chance to get your hands on a brand new tool. Another Metro's Hobbies, thank you guys, a 1/48th Fairy Fulmer Mark 1 from Trumpeter. And one of our favorites is SMS. This huge SMS bundle. It's got 16 paints, 2 hyperchrome pens, ceramic scraper, sanding sticks, painting clips, and micro detailing brushes and dry brushes. This is worth about 400 Aussie dollars. So that is a huge prize. Lot number 9 is the Micro Machines Podcast and Hobbies and Franklin Hobbies. Thank you, guys. The Airfix 172nd Supermarine Swift FR5. And finally, lot number 10 from On the Bench. You have the opportunity to be a guest producer for the day in the studio, and you'll be with them to record the episode. You get to choose the topic, and you are a co-host on the show as a special guest. This is an absolutely bloody awesome lot. But you have to bear in mind that you have to be free at their time zone. So if they decide to do it at 7:30 Aussie time, you have to be available at that time. So please keep that in mind when you bid for this, because you are going to bid for this. Trust me, you're going to get your hand in your pocket and you're going to bid like you mean it for this one. So there we have all of the lots for Australia. There's some absolutely stonking stuff there. And thank you to all the people across over there in Australia and New Zealand who've made these donations. Metro Hobbies, Hobbies Australia, SMS, on the bench, and Franklin Hobbies and Micro Machines podcast. Thank you guys. Really, really appreciate this. And if I'm correct, we've actually doubled the size of our auction for this year. So awesome. Thank you, gents. And that's it from me.
Cool. Cool. Whoa, what's going on here, Steph?
Give me a sec. There we go. Sorted.
There we go. Cool. We've been joined by Ian. Ian's found where we are, which is good.
Yay.
Let's add him to
Moved
the
studios.
stage. Hi, Ian. How you doing?
Right, sorry, guys. I was totally in the zone and totally forgot.
Yeah, that's cool.
Moved studios.
It's cool. We don't have such problems with that. So, it's your moment. Tell us what you've been up to.
Well, basically doing a bit of composition.
Mm-hmm.
So I've got a couple of French resistance in 48 scale, which I'm just going to probably plonk in this corner. Just putting a fence together, just a bit of a backdrop behind them.
Cool.
So sort of commander, driver. Probably can't see him; it's too blurry. But yeah, it's getting close to the point where I'll be nearly ready to start painting it tomorrow morning.
Cool.
Got some stowage on the back of the tank. A aftermarket tow cable because the kit doesn't come with a tow cable.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, drilled out the machine gun barrels. So yeah, it's definitely coming along. I forgot I picked up some aftermarket star decals for it too.
Mm-hmm.
So I can do this one here.
Okay.
A yellow ribbon on the side and it's got a horseshoe with a 4-leaf clover.
Nice.
Cool.
And we'll say plenty tough 2. So
Nice.
yeah, it's just one of those things. I'm just on a roll at the moment.
In the
So
zone.
that fence is that an aftermarket thing, or is that's not matchsticks, is it?
No, it's aftermarket.
Can you show me that? Just
Yeah, it's from Model Scene, and you get basically this 48 scale. You get basically 2 of these, which are like laser cut, all rotted out at the bottom, and you get some railings to put in behind it.
cool.
So the only thing I'll do is just tomorrow, when I do some light, is go through my timber collection and knock up a couple of fence posts. And then, yeah, so like I said, tomorrow morning is paint everything, because pretty much everything's nearly ready for painting. And yeah, so it's, like I said, it's just one of those things. I'm on a roll at the moment and
Yeah.
really enjoying the build.
Cool. That's really good to hear. But
Until I start seeing double, then I'll have to
Yeah.
call it quick.
now that brings me to something in which I'm going to say, right? But the reason I'm going to say it is because I want everybody else to not only hear me say it, but I want everyone else to take it on board. So, yeah, that's the problem with model making. We do get in the zone, we do get carried away, and before you know it, several hours have passed and we didn't realise. So, please make sure during this event that you take plenty of rest and time out. Make sure you eat, make sure you drink, and make sure you get up every now and again and move yourself.
So I can
Obviously,
tell you through experience that many a time I've started modelling at about 7 or 8 o'clock in the morning, and all of a sudden I've gone, geez, I'm getting hungry. I looked at the clock and it's like 9 o'clock at night.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
ever so easy to do. Really is ever so easy.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's why these episodes are about they should be about 4 hours, not 4 years.
4 years
long. Wow. Purely to make sure that everybody in the studios take a break for half an hour. And also that gives you the opportunity to make sure you take a break too. So that's just the routine that we'll try and stick to as best we can. We will get into the zone. We will get into a situation, especially with the auctions, where we might overrun a little bit. Who knows? But please make sure you take your break. Really, really important.
Oh, yeah.
So you guys are doing really, really well. I haven't started mine yet, so there's nothing for me to show. Although I will say that over here is my kit, and over here also is the list of ideas that you guys have been giving me. So just to reiterate, I've got a box frame that is my kit. That is my kit. What goes in that box frame is actually down to people watching to tell me what they want me to do. So when I say that, it is actually a case of you giving me ideas and me thinking, oh, okay, I could do this, could do that, could that. Now, it sounds like a bit of a cop-out, but trust me, it's not. I've got things ranging from figures on crucifixes to do with a comedy scene. I've got medieval castles, pillboxes, Shermans busting through tank to walls and all this sort of stuff. So there's a lot of stuff going on. And I might not have everything to do that idea, but I might take an element of that idea and put it towards an idea. But the other parts of that as well is your input hasn't stopped yet, because I will be talking about this a little bit later on and asking for a bit more opinions, a bit more people that didn't join us in the first session. Maybe they've got some ideas they can throw at me. But when we come to the part just before I start, I'm going to make sure that you guys know what it is I'm going to be attempting. And then I'm going to throw yet another option towards you to make things a little bit more complicated for me. God knows why I'm going to do this, but that's how it rolls. That's what I decided. So that's what we're going to stick to. So we're going to end up with something quite unique, quite different, and maybe not something I may have thought of along the way, or certainly didn't start out with. So we'll see. Just get a little bit more interaction, that's all. So just go back to the chat. We have got Andy Goodman. He is there. Say hi, Andy. How are you? Afternoon from sunny Peak
District.
Grant is there saying welcome back. Work day is dragging on. Oh yeah, I'm getting messages left, right, and centre from people in the same boat. Grant, don't worry. Chris says, just popped in to say good night to everyone. Thanks for fun. It's been great being involved. It's brilliant having you involved, Chris. And thank you for popping in for this episode just to say goodbye. Make sure you rest up well, and we'll see you over the weekend, hopefully.
Yeah, cheers.
Neil is saying strange website site. Not quite sure what you mean by that, but if that's in relation to our website, that's the way we've written the website to make it different. Hopefully that's what you mean. Hopefully there's not any issues. I've been on the website and it seems to be working fine, so I don't know. Scott says, if it is the same kit, P8 comes with the Aussie markings ANS masking set, apparently.
I believe so, yes.
It definitely does, yes.
There you go. Confirmation from Mr. Marley.
I had a look at it today. It's 11's got an RWF, as well as the first P8 that visited Australia. That's the Americans. So it's a great kit to have. If you're a fan of P8s.
Carl is there saying, hit the thumbs up button, guys, for the analytics of the YouTube channel. Definitely. The more analytics we get, the more we'll be pushed to the front and pick up people and all that sort of stuff. Rob is there. So Rob is saying, only watching this weekend as away from home. Oh, that's a shame, but thank you for popping in and being part of it. Maybe you can take part in the auction. Who knows? Dorcosaurus is there saying good afternoon, good morning, good afternoon, peeps. I hope you're having a wonderful day. We certainly are. John is there saying hi to all. Rob is there saying, Malcolm, you should make a little Malcolm making a box diorama of Malcolm making a box diorama for the little Malcolm. Yes, I could do, but I'm not going to. That's way too much for me to do in 48 hours.
A lot of resin.
Neil saying dog barking. LOL. Yeah, there will be some of that as well, some from time to time. We have homes. David is there saying, Has it been a year since the last 48 Fest? So good to be part of it again, Mr. Jamskiff. It's good to see you there too, David, and that's fine. So there we go. That's the chat call up. 24 people watching. I can't believe you've all said hi. So if you're watching, say hello. Tell us what you're up to. If you're building along at the moment, tell us what you're doing and how your progress is. I'm going to stick my head down here and get on with my airbrushes in a second because they need a bit of a clean, a bit of a service. So we're giving it a bit of a going over. Ready for later on. Whether I use them or not, I don't know, but we'll see. So there we go. Let us just remind ourselves that we need to do this every now and again. Coffee or something similar. Keep yourself going. I am in the process of trying to sort out one of my airbrushes and actually just having a bit of a minor hiccup. That's not gone well at all. Sugar. Right.
So Duke says he's just had his second Tim Tam with his coffee. Now, I can't believe you've only had two. How long has the pat been open? Is it more than 30 seconds?
Isn't there some sort of rule about how long they're meant to last?
Well, not so much, but they do write on them. So, like, one serving is like one Tim Tam, and you just sort of read that and just go, yeah, no, before you scoff another.
Oh, okay. Oh dear. Well, that's not good. I've managed to break my airbrush.
Oh no!
Oh no!
That's not what you want to do. That's not what you want to do.
It's certainly not, and I can tell you that I'm going to be pretty annoyed by that. Ah, dear, oh dear. Yes, silly old sausage, you.
Duke says that he's been busy. The packet has only been open for 10 minutes. Ha ha ha!
And it's already half empty.
Yeah, Robert Worth points out that biscuits should always be consumed in multiples of 3. Yes, I agree. Well,
yeah, you're going to have to bear with me a second, guys.
you're all good. Do what you need to do.
Oh, that's terrible. Oh, okay. Right. So I Do that.
John Mayfield says James would be annoyed at what is being called in the green room. I think you've probably heard it all before, though, haven't you, James?
I got to be honest with you. I know where you guys are heading, and it's not going to make any difference to me. It really isn't. So you crack on. And I know what it's partly about, but you're not going to get there. So it's up to you guys. You want to be silly? Be silly. It's none of my business. Do what you want to do. But no, I'm not going to get annoyed. You will not annoy me. There's too many things going on. But do remember, I do have the power to press delete. So
Duke has a tip for you, James. He says you will have to bid on the Gaahleri airbrush.
You're not wrong, I'm afraid.
Gaahleri.
Yeah, you're not wrong. It is fixable. I just gotta. I'm not the sort of person that generally takes my airbrushes apart because I generally don't put them back together well. So the logic is don't do it, and then you won't have a problem. However, this has created a bit of an issue for me, and I should be able to fix it. I think it's fixable. Yeah, I know it's fixable. What am I saying? It's just a case of trying to fix it. So, not a problem. But what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to do the most sensible thing ever. I'm just going to walk away from it. Because if I carry on, I'm going to break it. So... So, those of you who are watching, who's getting involved? What you got planned to be building? Let us know. Here we go. So a top tip, if you're painting your airbrushes, do it so you can concentrate. Don't do it while you try and do something at the same time. You will make mistakes.
I had a package arrive in the mail today. Thought it was very nice. It's a postcard from Models for Heroes. And that wrapped up in that was my official Models for Heroes volunteer badge.
Oh,
I'm one of the boys now, or one of the
Nice.
ladies and gentlemen. How nice is that? Plus, I've got a very nice thing that I'll stick up in front of me, I think. So thank you very much, Malcolm, and everyone at Models for Heroes. I have been for a while, an official volunteer.
excellent.
Congratulations, about bloody time.
Oh, cripes.
So Duke's just saying that he's cleaned his airbrushes himself today. I will get back to the chat in just a second. Let me just...
No, I'll carry on.
That's right.
No, you're busy. Duke says, yeah, I cleaned mine this afternoon. The Gaahleri 98 Ace. Very nice airbrush. It's good to hear. How long have you had that, Duke? Mark Segstro says, just going to pop down to the hobby room to organise the space, clean up, get paints ready, and mix up some more primer. Back in a little while. Sure. And Gary, Friends of Models for Heroes, says, it's the wrong way up. Yeah, well, actually, I could put this on either way. I'm trying to work out which way it goes because instructions aren't that clear. I believe it goes, yes, it'll go that way. So yeah, as we speak, I'm making the canopy masks for this. And Dave says, plan is a Beacon Models 1:144 scale ME 109E. But if the high spirits continue in the green room, I may just giggle all weekend. Well, you could do it. You could do both. You could be laughing so much you sort of like, shake it to death and stuff like that. But no one will laugh at you. We'll say, good on you for sticking around. What you'll find, there's no judgment. Anybody that gets involved, no one's going to say, yeah, that looks crap. We're not those people.
It's not what it's about. It's all about being a part of it, having fun. The standard doesn't matter.
That's why I'm allowed to do it.
We're not judging. We're not going to judge you and issue medals or anything like that. It's just about being a part of the event. So it's a safe space.
Duke says, he's had the airbrush for 18 months and used it 5 times. Still a bit scared of airbrushing. Had an issue with my compressor. That's fair enough. It does take a while to get used to. If you need any tips or to talk you through stuff, just give me a hoy and we'll talk over that. Duke sent me something in the mail a few weeks ago. I'm so impressed with it. I'll grab it and show you guys a little bit later because it's actually really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Neil Hemsley says, I fix mobile phones and tech for a business. So when not in use, I throw my airbrushes in the sonic cleaner. Seems to work good.
It's a treat.
Oh, hell yes. Every 6 months I chuck mine through my sonic cleaner.
Every 6 months?
Yeah.
Every 3 uses for me.
Do you guys use in thinners or just water or a mix?
I use methylated spirits.
Yeah.
David says he struggles to breathe and blink at the same time, so giggling and building just wouldn't work. Duke's compressor, the emergency valve went off a couple of times and I jumped, spilling paint on the model. Oh, well, I may have spilt some paint before.
Would that be silver paint, John?
Yeah. And Duke says, thanks. Yeah, no worries. Any support I can give you, Duke. That's why we're all here. I'll go and grab the thing that he sent me because I'm so impressed with it. Okay, so story goes. My favorite series of books are these ones. The Patrick O'Brien it's called the Aubrey Maturin series. So, Master and Commander, Far Side of the World, all that stuff. There's 20 books in the series. And Duke, I bought something from Hannon's, had some extras, so I sent him some things a couple of weeks ago. And unbeknownst to me, he popped in the mail things that he'd made himself. These are little figures of Jack Aubrey and Stephen Maturin. So these guys guard my little books. I think they're absolutely fantastic. In fact, Stephen Maturin is actually drawing. Oh, it's probably out of focus, but he's drawing like a bird in the little booklet he's got there. I think they're fantastic. And he sent me 2 sets of them. So the smallest set are the same scale as the. I'll have to move that a bit. So this is a wooden ship that I built a year ago. Well, so I've got the guys on the deck because I can. Cool. So he's quite happy there on the quarter deck. So thanks again, Duke. Fantastic.
So I'm glad to report I've fixed the brush.
Woohoo!
Yeah, a lot more woohoo, I can tell you. I was starting to get a little bit stressed. Well, that's okay. Right, cool. I will leave that until later now. Do that a little bit.
Penny's in. Hello, Penny. Haven't spoken to you for a while. Dave said, would a Murray or a Duke Nukem cleaner work, or does it have to be Sonic? That's a good question, actually. And Duke, it's his absolute pleasure. Thanks. Yeah, thanks again for those figures. It's just so good. Andy, he loves those books as well, as he should. Those figures are fantastic. Very jealous. Duke's going to have to make a set for everyone on the stream now. Is that the surprise they're standing on? No, it's my His Majesty's Brig supply from Australia's First Fleet. I haven't bought the surprise yet. It's going to cost about $2,000. I'll do it before I die. But and Dita says, preferably Sonic. You get your ears cleaned as a bonus without having to lose your tails over it or rub knuckles. You know what? I'm 56 and I got that reference. So does that mean I'm a cool parent or just an idiot?
No, it just means you remember Sonic the Hedgehog when it first came out.
Yeah.
Hang on a minute. Can I just ask, was that a quick trick question?
And Duke would like to know everyone's address so he can send everyone Jack Aubrey and Stephen Maturin figures.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Just kidding. It's not real.
Oh, too late.
Oh, Dita says, John, it makes you a geeky parent. You can be proud of that. Yeah. Said Duke. Yeah. Haggard can DM you his address. And Gary says, all are in Discord shouted as one, you're an idiot. And you're an idiot. You're an idiot. Okay. You're an idiot. Everyone went full Elon Musk there, I think. Chainsaw. Oh, that's the other thing. Yeah, this is a politics-free zone. I shouldn't have mentioned that, but obviously there'd be people around the world in different countries that are upset for different things that are happening with politics at the moment. So basically, if anyone sort of talks about it, we're just going to ignore it. Just for we're not here to do that. And people who know me would know that's uncharacteristic of me to not sort of like have my little tanty rant. But I think that's for everyone's sake.
Yep, absolutely. We can only control what we've got going on right here, and we can only control the moment in which we're in. So let's concentrate on that. Concentrate on what we're here for. We're here to have a laugh and a joke. And that doesn't necessarily mean at people's expense either, but just a laugh and a joke. We no doubt will mock each other ruthlessly as we normally do, but don't take that as a given that you can go off on a tangent, because that wouldn't be accepted. So you don't want anyone getting caught out. The moment when you clean your airbrush and realise just how dirty it is. Damn.
Yes, the deer in the fridge to prove it, as you said yesterday. Innocent look but fails. Yeah, that's right. Oh, pardon me, dear John. Drat, dear. Yes, dear. Dear John, I get those letters a lot.
Okey-dokey. Oh. That didn't sound good, John.
No, I just I've got my my magnifying goggles on. I just lifted up my head and it knocked into a little camera. So that was me sort of going, "Doo."
Right, let's do a little tip and then we'll have a look at the chat, see where we're at. I want to play you this tip. I think I have something in mind. Let's do that one. God damn it.
So Jim says, "Hello everyone, back for more." Welcome back, Jim.
Hi, Jim.
Peter says, "Light, camera, bandage, action."
Indeed. So, it's really quite annoying, actually. No, I'm going to play this.
Now you can buy some beautiful commercial trees, but the price soon mounts up, especially if you're doing quite a few. So instead, I'm going to show you how to make your own wire trees. I started with 8 or so pieces of 32 gauge wire, and I use a pair of pliers to twist the end nice and tight, and this is the bottom of our trunk. Now it's time to do the branches. So we split off 3 or 4 wires and start twisting them together. The first twist at the start of the branch, and you can do it for as long and as short as you want. You'll soon get a feel for it. But once you've done a few twists, let's slow this down and look at it in detail. You twist back one of the sides and you'll create a couple of loops. Now you twist that loop to secure it. I've got 2 here. Sometimes I do them individually, sometimes I do them in pairs. It depends how balanced I want the tree to be. Then you just twist the loops together so that you have another branch forming. This is it, you're done at this point. Now you twist the tails together to secure them, otherwise I find when you cut the loops in a minute it falls apart, and then you just start bending back. In this case I'm bending them back singly because I don't need to do a double, and you can see I end up with a loop and a short bit to the left there. I twist that short bit to the left once I've twisted the loop in with the other piece to make sure it's all combined, otherwise that short bit will fall off. So there's a lot of twisting. You will end up with achy fingers if you do a lot of these trees like I did, and you just need to keep bending them back, doubling them up and twisting loops. Sometimes when I'm doing trees, I just seem to end up with a loop that's too large. If that happens to you, don't worry, take the middle of the loop and squash it back down to the twisted wire, and now you've got 2 balloons on the side that you can twist individually and you'll end up with double the branching. Once all your wire is twisted, you're left with loops. You can just snip them with a pair of wire cutters. Now I like to snip them asymmetrically so I get slightly different shape lengths. Now you just shape those loops into twigs. And these aren't your finest twigs, we'll add those later, but these are your finest branches. Now we've got our lowest branch, we just need to go up the tree, repeat, splitting it into sections, choosing whether we have one leader branch or whether we prefer to split it more evenly, and eventually we end up with a small wire tree. Next up, covering the wire twists. It's a great method, but those wire twists just give it away. I use brushable latex. It's thicker than casting latex, and I brush it on with a brush I really don't care about because it doesn't wash out easily afterwards. It doesn't set completely covering everything though. You'll need to do a couple of coats, or as I've done here, add something like sawdust into a second coat, and that just thickens it up and it has more coverage. Now you just brush it on and leave it, but you must leave it to dry well between the 2 coats because it does air dry, but it seals itself in. So if you put them on too quickly and it's not dried properly, it will never ever set again in future and it'll be squidgy in the middle. The advantage of latex though, when it's set, you can still move your branches, so you can still pose them later on. To help with the movement, I prime it with acrylics because they're slightly flexible. This is a brown primer from MIG for tracks, and then I spray on a lighter brown colour which is more in keeping with what I wanted the tree to look like. If you're doing a polyfibre tree, you can just add polyfibre at this point and move on to adding leaves. However, I wanted to show a different technique which uses static grass to add the fine twigs. That means you can do winter branches this way. So I use a little bit of layering spray, which is an acrylic spray. It stinks less than the other spray paints, and I sprinkle on with my applicator some 10mm grass. I've chosen a colour that works for me, and I've got a little workstation, I've got the glue to one side, and then I capture that grass on a sheet of paper and I can reuse it. You will need to build up several coats, or you end up with almost like a lollipop effect where you just don't have enough branches and twigs to hold the foliage that comes next. You don't need to wait for that to dry before moving on to spraying some more glue and adding. In this case I'm using coarse turf. I'm just using the static grass applicator because it's a nice way of sprinkling it on and it all comes out again afterwards. This stage is really just to bulk everything up and give the leaves a little bit more density. Therefore keep spraying more glue and adding more foam until you're happy. And then when you're done, it's just sprinkle the leaves on. I'm using knock leaves here. I really like them. They're just the easiest to sprinkle and they come in some great colours. And that's it. Once that's dry, your tree is done.
very good tree.
Really, really good methodology she uses, and it's a really easy tutorial to follow. So thank you for that. I'm just sorting myself out here for a minute, and then I will be back to where I need to be.
Guys, I'm going to take off, get some sleep.
Yeah, I'm feeling the same too, guys.
My kit is a disaster, and I will be starting something else.
Oh no!
Oh no! Really?
Yeah, it's a flash monster to start off with, and then there's no locating pins. It's warpage. I'll get something else out of the stash and start in the afternoon.
Ah, man.
That's okay. I've got a couple of other projects that I'll just start one of the projects that I want to do.
Yeah,
I've pretty much gotten to painting stage.
That looks awesome, Ian.
Yeah,
nice.
So,
there we go. Wow. Yeah, it's looking really nice.
Yeah.
Bit of stowage on the back, aftermarket cable.
Nice.
Couple of Frenchies. I've just been struggling trying to find some anti-Nazi World War II French slogans to put on the fence. Just trying to find pictures, just nothing.
Yeah.
So yeah.
All right, guys. I'll catch you on the afternoon stream when I get back from what I've got to do.
Yeah, no problem. Just take it easy. Don't stress over it.
No, not going to.
No, don't.
I'm the same. So I'm calling it quits. I can't do any painting till tomorrow anyway because I've got no light in the garage.
Yeah.
So I've got daylight before I can paint.
Okay, cool.
But I'm quite happy with as far as I've gotten in this evening.
Yeah, that looks great.
You've done very well.
Definitely getting it.
Cracking job.
You've got an idea what my plan was now.
All right, guys. Good night.
All right, guys. We'll see you tomorrow afternoon.
See you later. Take care.
Take care, guys.
Hey, Rube.
Yeah, super important. If you're building and you're getting frustrated, stop it, walk away from it, or move on. In any of those is fine, because at the end of the day, it's all about just taking part. It's not that important about the finish, and it's certainly not worth getting all stressed over. Definitely not. We've all been there. So I just cleaned my airbrushes. Talking about stress, yeah, that was interesting. I thought that was going to go terribly wrong, but I managed to save the day, so that's good. Where are we in the chat? Let's have a quick look.
We're up to that one.
Thank you. I don't know what that's about. That doesn't make sense.
No, that's just spam. Data says, yeah, it's a treat to see that tutorial of the tree making. That was great.
Yeah, so William was saying there, hello all, let the best weekend of the year begin. Forgive me if this has already been asked, but is there some sort of Discord live hangout like there was last year? There certainly is. And you can find that on the simplest way, if I'm honest, is if you go onto this link here. So if you go on to 48-48.org/ the funny symbol social, that'll take you to a page where you have got the option of the Discord group or the Facebook group. Click on the image of the Friends for Models Heroes logo, and that'll take you straight through to the Discord. Please do use that. Any questions, anything you're not quite sure of, 48-48.org is the website that we now have. So please look onto that. It gives you all the information you need for all the event timetables, auction lots, who's involved, who did the build last year, what did they build, all that sort of stuff. So it's all there for you. Make it nice and easy. And no question is ever a silly question. If you don't know the answer, it's a good question. Luca is there. He says, "Hello everyone. I didn't even realise that is already it's that time of year again for another 48-hour stream. Time flies too fast. It certainly does. Yeah, it is that time. Whereabouts are you, Luca? I can't remember. I recognise the name, but I can't remember exactly where you were." Duke is saying Kathy Millett has some wonderful tutorials on her YouTube. She certainly does. She is well known for, or mainly known, I think, for her railway stuff. But there's a lot of techniques within the railway hobby that we use and can use and transferred knowledge. So that's good to know. And she's very good at putting that across in a very nice, easy and calm way. So check her out, definitely. And of course, she's now into 3D printing and gaming in quite a big way as well. So she actually has a Discord channel herself, which is pretty good. Worth checking out. Andy's there, off to pick up the kids. We'll be back for the start of the UK build. About ready to button up the Seafire fuselage. Cockpit is pretty meh, but we must go. Thanks so much for the stream. It's been. You're more than welcome.
Cheers, Andy.
And he says mustard, and mustard has to be mustard. It certainly does. Ian is there. He says hi all. Lots of familiar names dropping by the show to show support. Indeed, there certainly is.
Ian.
So 32 people watching. Please make sure you make comments, etc., etc. If you are building and haven't started yet, what are you going to be building? Tell us what your plans are. These guys are part of the Australian team that are doing their builds. Obviously, Steph is in the UK, but he gone to the
dark side.
The dark side, yeah. Gone to the dark side because he does the auctions and stuff, and it works out easier for him to do it that way.
Also, they have cookies.
Well, yeah. Let's not do the old Tim Tam.
Let's do that again.
We've done that. We got that out of the way pretty quickly, thankfully. So yeah, all looking good. Obviously, I'm just doing a bit of hosting and a bit of maintenance work here, ready for my start, which will be much later on. I did actually. That reminds me. I did actually find the post that I was talking to you guys about earlier.
Oh.
Which was in relation to my build. So just to refresh your memory if you didn't know already. So my build is a little bit off the wall, as those that know we would expect. And I'll show you in a minute exactly what it is. Let me do that. Let me do it in order. So let me show you what's what. Give me a second while I just adjust myself, because you don't want to be looking at my face most of the time. Anyway. So obviously this is my bench. I've got a kit. I've got one kit. Very simple. And this is it. So this is my kit. It is actually what's known as a shadow box, or a box frame, if you like. So that will take me seconds to put that together, I'm glad to say. But as you can see, it's quite a wide frame, and I don't quite know what I'm going to do with it yet. So I've actually asked you guys, the people who are watching, people taking part, as to what you think I should do. So we've had a few ideas. In the last episode, we did a little bit of a straw poll, for want of a different phrase, of just some ideas. So the way in which I want it to work is I want your input. I want you to sort of tell me what you think I should be doing. However, I do have some element of control, just to save myself being thrown under the bus completely. I may take the whole idea, or I might take an element of the idea, or whatever. But that's what I'm going to do. So in our stream we just gone past, we had a couple of ideas which were from Monty Python, which was the Life of Brian scene and the Roman Go Home scene, if you know what I mean by that. We had a boxing ring with a fight off between a Tim Tam and a penguin, which that does appeal. That's quite funny. I quite like that idea. But the other things we had was like facades and mossy walls, medieval church, not church, castle, dressing room, scenes from Blackadder or Dad's Army, an explosion where a vehicle's been exploded. So there's not actually a vehicle as such, but there's a big crater and bits of vehicles. So that's a pretty cool idea. I quite like that idea, if I'm honest. Doctor Who was definitely one that has been kicking around a bit. But one I had that was sent to me because they couldn't, they're watching at work. I won't name them, but they're watching at work and then they're unable to type in at work what their idea is. So they sent me a message. I don't quite know how they did that, but they did. And the idea was to create a VE based diorama, so a Victory in Europe based diorama, which is very poignant for this time of year, as we're coming up to the anniversary, especially as it's a special anniversary this year as well, I believe. So that was another idea. And then the post, I put a post up on Facebook, and one of the things, these are the things in which were suggested. So, for example, Julian suggested a Tamiya 148 Sherman smashing its way through a brick wall. With a loudspeaker on the turret, no negative waves. Now, I'm sure if you know the film, you'll know exactly where that's coming from. We had a sea monster smashing through an ice sheet. Interesting. We also had a diorama showing the build being built. So, in some way, a form of me expressing what I want to express by showing how I'm going to do it, I guess. And then I had another one, which was the balcony. It was the balcony. That's all I got. The balcony.
Oh, I know what that is.
That was some of our beneficiaries. They were the options from the beneficiaries. I mean, obviously, out of that, I quite like the Sherman smashing through a brick wall.
You know what the balcony is, James?
No, I'm not 100% sure. I've got to be honest.
Right, the balcony is the balcony scene on the Iranian embassy siege where the SAS stormed it.
Yes.
That's the balcony.
Yeah.
The running joke within the military is, I was there. It's a bit like I'm Spartacus.
Yeah. Gotcha.
So that's the Iranian embassy siege.
Yes,
balcony
I remember
siege.
now. Someone did actually explain it to me. Now you said that, I remember. So they are the options right now. I've not made any choices. Obviously, the one thing I didn't say is this comes with some options of XPS foam that I've got, some card, and anything else I can find around the room, really. Figures may be an issue. I'm not quite sure what figures I've got, but I could have a hunt around. So I'm leaving it a bit late because obviously the plan was to have this all polled and decided before we went live, but just things haven't worked out that way for me. So not a big problem. We will look at that a little bit later on. But still mulling through some of those ideas. If you've got any ideas of those that you're watching, I can jot them down on a piece of paper and we can have a mooch shoot through them together. So John decided that he could resist picking up some Tim Tams just at his local B&M store. UK. Well, it's good that you resist.
You're meant to get some points for that, are you, John? Like, you're just disappointing me here.
I think what that is I think that's a direct forgive me sort of comment for a previous comment that he aimed at me. So yeah, he knows me better than that. That won't work. So, but yeah, you've got some element of self-control when it comes to Tim Tams, not with anything else, if I'm honest, John. But that's because I like you. Scott says, haven't started yet, but we'll be building the Airfix 148 P40B Warhawk. Oh yeah, no, they're good. That's definitely a good one. David's making some comments about penguins with a B.
Oh, you might remember this photo, James.
Ah, yes, I do. Yes.
It was then I realised that penguins taste just like Tim Tams. So I was sitting in the car in Devon.
But the thing is, right? Look at your face. Look at the sheer guilt you've got on that face, and the fact that you're turning to penguins.
Yeah, and the caption was, "Oh shit." Oh, that's funny.
Bless you. Oh no! So there was a comment. Dave obviously got excited and pressed the button too quickly. So David says penguins are so cheap in B&M. There's no need to buy the off-brand Tim Tams.
Penguins are actually delicious. I will give you that. There is, you can argue all you want about these things, but they're chocolate-coated biscuits. How bad can they be?
Well, tasting like a Tim Tam. Did you expect me to say something different? There you go. Right, okay. So we're an hour or so into this episode. This episode will run for about 3 hours. John, I just want to double check you were okay, yeah? Because I know it's 2 o'clock in the morning, 1 o'clock.
Yeah, 2:10. I'm typically up at this time anyway. I'm a bit of a night owl, I must admit, to the constant chagrin of my family.
Tart. I think the word is you're looking for tart.
Oh, yes. Tart. I reckon I'll be here for another 50 minutes.
Right. Okay. I like the fact that you've been so precise. I'm on now. But that's cool. Okay, those are watching, that's 30 of you now watching. Have you got any questions for us? Is there any questions for Steph about the auction, maybe? Just general questions. So I'm going to go quiet for a minute or two. I just need to step out of the room. I will be back, don't worry. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a little bit of something to keep myself occupied, because otherwise I'm going to talk forever and my eyes are going to start shutting because I'm tired. Back in a second.
Very good. I'm just standing having a stretch, I must admit. Mr. Golden V says, greetings, everyone. Greetings, Mr. Golden V. Duke says, not used to working. No, John. So, yeah, you most people won't know. Duke gets paid to watch people while they sleep. He is a sleep sort of specialist sort of thing. He takes notes and stuff like that. So it's not in a creepy way, but it's the butt of much jokes and stuff like that. But I'm sure he provides a bloody good service. Standing there, you don't know what he's doing while you're asleep, but we'll just leave it at that. Maybe that's just what they do in Victoria. That's just the reason I don't live there anymore.
Whoa. So, did we do any?
Yes, comments are good. Yeah.
Right, cool. Okay, so I can mark that one up to there. With Duke's like being the last comment. Okie dokie. So, where are we?
Okay. Trying to work out if I want to tart up this cockpit anymore, or whether I'll just put the canopy on. So much I could do with it, really. Maybe I'll just give it a wash.
Yeah. Do what you think's fine. Steph, there's a question there for you. Dean is asking, what Spitfire are you building?
I'm building the Mark 12 clip wing from Airfix in 1/48 scale.
Cool.
And it is going together like a dream.
Always good to hear those words.
And I am building the Mark 1 Spitfire by Airfix. Well, it was before it was a Mark 1A, and so all of these were just Mark 1. Flat canopy, unarmored windscreen, wooden blade prop, all that stuff like that. It's going together. It's quite all right. I was worried about the fit of the wing to the fillets there, but it's not so bad. Just a smear of filler will do. That'll be all right. I'll leave that on there just because I want it to glue well. So I could leave that overnight if I need to. And then tomorrow, well, maybe I'll prime it before going to bed so it'll be ready for painting in the morning.
Good.
Painting for me will be fairly straightforward because I cheated and bought one of these top-notch camouflage mask set for a Mark 1. Yeah. But that'll be fine because you could reuse these. I've used these in a number of kits a couple of times. You can probably do about 3 times before they start getting a bit furry and everything else. So they're actually quite good. Oh, and Dean says, nice one. He's building the 148 Airfix 5C Trop. I'd love to see that. Like the world needs more Spitfire kits, is what I'd like to say. They're always good looking builds. So hope that goes well, Dean. Love to see those photos later. Tiff says, so I'm not a plane builder, but I've just purchased a Matchbox Handley Page Victor in 72nd scale.
You've just done what? You know how big that is, Tiff?
Yes, you are a plane builder.
You certainly are a plane builder now.
You're going to need a bigger cupboard. I think, so I built one about 3 years ago. It didn't last that long, about probably 6 months or so, and I just threw it out. But what it did make me do is buy the new Airfix one because I do love the aircraft. And looking online, the difference between that Matchbox one and what the standard of kit is now, it really is chalk and cheese. So you're going to enjoy it. I'll say that. But it's big. Yeah. So good luck with that, Tiff.
Oh yeah, and it's 3 color.
And if you can convince Gary and Mikey, we could do it on the channel as a buddy build on the Bearded Veteran Creates, because I'd just like to see Gary hit his head against a brick wall. It'd be hilarious. Oh God, he can hear this, can't he?
Yeah. Yeah, you're not setting yourself up at all in any way, shape, or form.
All right, I'm going to pause and then jump into Discord and apologise profusely and try to save my reputation with my friend.
Too late.
Too late.
Too late, definitely.
A big shout out to my very old friend. By that I mean he's old.
Oh wait, hang on a minute. No, it's okay. I thought for a second there you needed a new shovel, but that one's still working well.
It's apparently working very well indeed.
Oh, bless you. Mr. Golden V is in. He says, "Are Tamiya paints better for dry brushing, or should I use Valerio?" I can never say that phrase. Sorry. Tamiya, no, don't use Tamiya paints, as Dean has just said. If you're dry brushing, I would use anything but Tamiya, basically. Just get yourself a nice bit of kitchen towel and take off as much of the paint as you can, so you've just got very, very little on your brush. And good luck. Tamiya paints, I'll be honest with you, I am not a Tamiya paint fan. I'll make that clear right from the beginning. It's not something I've ever got on well with the brush or with an airbrush. So unusual, I'm sure, because a lot of people love them. But yeah.
Do you have a strong opinion on Tamiya paint, Steph?
I use Tamiya paints all the time. I've found, funnily enough, that you can actually thin Tamiya acrylic paints with Tamiya lacquer thinners.
Okay.
And when you airbrush them, they clean up so much easier. And I'm like, oh my God. When I did the cockpit color on this, I'm trying to sound and talk.
You're thinking and
yeah,
acting.
I can't do that at the same time.
No.
Yeah. That's now dried, but that was Tamiya cockpit green with Tamiya lacquer thinners, not acrylic thinners, lacquer thinners. And it comes out really nice. And when you come to clean your airbrush, oh my God. My big issue with any acrylics is cleaning my airbrush. I always spend 5-10 minutes cleaning after using acrylics, whereas with using enamels or lacquers or anything like that, it's squirt, clean, jobs are good. So yeah, this is what I've used. And if you want to watch me do it, I will do it in a bit just to prove it, because you know what, people are like, yeah, of course you did.
It's strange. It's like most things, isn't it? You know, I'm a big advocate of buy the paint that's local to you. Don't worry too much about you know, the faddy paint. You know, that all sparkling, all dancing new paint. Not because they're not great. Not for that reason at all. It's just about availability and ease. So
yeah,
if you've got a product near you that's easy to pick up, buy it. Whatever paint you buy, you will have to learn how to use it. They all have their own individualities to them. Yes, there are some paints that are not great in the scheme of things, but there's also some faddy paint, for what I'd call it. So those ones that sort of appear and go, oh, this is the next best thing, which turns out to be not quite as good as you think. Or more importantly, they are really good paints, but you've been used to using another paint, and that transition makes you think that paint's no good, which is often the case, if I'm honest. So yeah, whatever paint you've got, you're gonna have to learn how to use it. So the logic being, if it's down the road and it's cheap and it's easy to get hold of, use down the road. You can buy it online, obviously, but down the road's easier.
That's what I do. I buy mine from my local shop. Which is literally, I could walk it at my pace, which is a long time, in about 5 minutes.
Yeah. Oh wow, that local.
Yes.
Very good.
And supporting your local businesses means that they won't close and disappear. So it's a win-win, really. But so I hope that answered your question. Good luck with the dry brushing. We'll look forward to seeing it. Dieter is shutting up shop. Obviously finishing work for the day. He will be back in the chat within about 45 minutes or so. Tiff is just saying I couldn't pass it out. It's 25 quid. That's the Hadley page she's talking about.
Yeah, that's what I paid for mine. Yeah, 50 Australian, 25 quid.
Yep.
And Mr. Golden is just saying, "Tar very much." Yeah, like you're more than welcome.
Yeah. So my view, I absolutely agree with you, or both of you. But James's comments about buy local, I believe it's the same with airbrushes as well. So there's certain airbrushes, say Badger, are more easy to obtain parts in America or whatever. There's Iwata, being a Japanese brand, are easier to get parts in Australia, and you've got what's the German one? Starts with H. Harder Steenbeck. Yeah, being German, being in Europe, it's easy to get parts there. So I'm a firm advocate for buy whatever is easier for you to get parts for wherever you are in the world. And it's the same with paints, really.
Yeah, you've also
tend not to use Tamiya. I do get on well with them. They spray very well, but I believe that they have the smallest range of colours on the market, and I just can't be bothered mixing paints a lot of the time.
Yeah, it's like Callum said this morning. His biggest bugbear with Tamiya is take Tamiya XF Blimp and Tamiya X Blimp, add 2 drops of this and 1 drop of that, and that's the colour. why not just bloody make it?
Yeah.
They've got
So-
a huge gap in their range numbers.
Well, yeah. I mean, they make their own. There is a prolific amount of paints on the market now, as you know. So different brands bring out their own brands. ICM, for instance, that sort of thing. So
Yep.
my build, I'll be using my local brand and sponsor of this event, SMS Paints. And a big hello to Scott Taylor down in Victoria. I've used these. Well, they're my go-to just because they're accessible is the main reason. But I also really like the color range. And for instance, their Spitfire colors look absolutely spot on to my eye. So yeah. So that's what I'm shooting for, something that looks like that on that. So, yay. We'll see how that goes.
Yeah, see, now I've always been an acrylic fan in that I'll explain how this came about. So I love model color. That's my go-to paint, if I'm honest. That's the most paint I've got of a brand to a point. And the reason I like model color is because they've got a very good range of colors, but you do need to mix the colors to get what you want. So they don't have they have some colors that are specific, like Panzer Grey or something like that, let's say. However, when you look at their chart, they've got a whole range of colors around that color. So, when you start talking about olive greens, they've got, I think it's about 6 or 7 different olive greens and all that sort of stuff, which at first you think, well, I don't really want to fap around with all that sort of stuff. However, what I've learned over time is by having those different color range, the colors that are so close to one another, and you're not fixating on cockpit green, because it says cockpit green on that bottle, you're actually using a little bit of look in your eye, and you're using a color that you can then go over with a slightly different color without actually mixing paint A and paint B together to get paint C and all that. So it's a little sort of in between. But the other good thing about model color is it's really great for paintbrushing and really easy to use for airbrushing. So it does everything you want, rather than going down the road of a product that's specifically for airbrushing. So and it's I think the other thing I like about it is that, like I say, they might have a green that's the sort of greens that you normally get in other ranges, but there'll be 1 or 2 greens that are just like really way out there, which are great for fading, great for adding different texture within that paint that you're doing on your model. So you're sort of getting all of what you want in one simple product. It takes a little bit of effort. I can't stand the Tamiya mixing paint to get a completely different color. That just doesn't make sense to me.
No.
I get it, don't get me wrong, but a drop is a drop, right? No, It's not. My drop might be bigger than your drop, and then you're into the whole world of pain because you're not following the instructions properly. So yeah, but experiment. At the end of the day, whatever you're going to get, you're going to have to experiment with. You're going to have to play with to figure out. A lot of people don't like Humbrol paints, and I understand exactly why that is. But there are some of the paints, some colours that I can airbrush really, really easily, and they come out just as well as any other product.
And they still make the best RAF uniform colour. They don't make that anymore.
No. And then there are some colours, some of their colours that just the pigment's too high. It just doesn't look right for scale. It's just everything's just wrong about it. So chalk and cheese, as they say. But you forgive me, I'm multitasking, so I apologise for that. But it's a great discussion point, and no matter where you go in this lovely hobby of ours, everyone's got an opinion on their products that they use, whether it be glue, sanding sticks, or paint, or whatever. Everyone has their favourite.
Make your own glue.
Yeah, see, there's that as well. You know, there's lots of things in which we purchase that's got the word modeler written on it or targeted as, which you can actually buy from a different source for a fraction of the price because it hasn't got the word modeler anywhere on the advertising. So,
yep.
Yeah, it's business. It's business. Anyway,
yeah,
we've gone off on a tangent a little bit.
Yeah, I have a problem with Johnson and Johnson of all companies. So it's this whole sort of pledge thing. You know how people would dip canopies in polish, floor polish. Now, any company that turns its back on the ability to put it into bottles that size and sell it for $10 each aren't worth their. Well, it's it's just really I don't understand. It's a missed opportunity for me. I've never done it myself. I've never felt the need, but yeah, like it's I don't understand why people want to do that. So my what I found working with aircraft is the canopies are never clean. You can scrub them all you like, but there's certain aircraft, for instance, like the Hornet, you're not allowed to use polish on the perspex. You have to use just water and a rag, and you can't go in circles. You have to go straight and forward and back. So as a result, there's bits you can't reach, like for instance, where the head-up display is, you can't reach forward to clean whatever gack might be in there in the glare shield, in the windscreen. So by trying to make aircraft canopies look that clean, it's unrealistic. So that's just is my opinion, but it's an informed opinion. So just don't bother.
But this is the whole, always going to be the whole thing with model making, isn't it? It's all about perception at the end of the day. And there will be people that work on an aircraft or a vehicle or whatever, and they know that inside out, so they can make those detailed things and decisions based on what they know. There's other people that are building something because they like the look of it.
Exactly.
I've no idea what it looks like in real life, and then make a judgment. So and I saw a really interesting picture the other day, actually, funny enough, talking about green, and it was a line of Norwegian army trucks, which was they're all painted green, NATO green. I think it was NATO green anyway, but it was a green colour. And I think there was 15 plus trucks in a line, all parked next to each other, and all you saw really was mainly the front. And I can guarantee you that was probably none of those trucks that had the same grin on them. They just all looked different.
There you go.
They've been faded or refreshed, or So again, it's all down to perception and down to what you know and what you find. And at the end of the day, the joys with models is you paint it how you want, and if you're happy with it, that's all that matters. So
that's another point that I'd like to make. That I have worked on a couple of aircraft types, and I do know them quite well. I'm never ever going to say that's wrong, that should be that color or whatever, because most of us just do this for fun. I don't like necessarily there's two facets. I don't like people accusing other people of being a rivet counter, because it seems to be, it's almost like that N word used to come up within 20 minutes of an argument. Somebody would say, oh, that's what, say, that H bloke did and stuff, and now that comes out within the first, say, minute of a conversation. But with like I don't know tanks, but if I build one, I'm going to build it how I see it and how I want it. Like if I want a particular shade or whatever, I'll do that. But I'm lucky I got to get up close to certain aircraft types or whatever. But no, just do it for fun. Do it because they look cool from a distance. Do what you want. Enjoy the hobby.
We've got a couple of comments there. Duke is just saying any floor polish will work. Do the same thing. That's true. And Jim says, I see future for not just clearing and cleaning canopies. It also protects the part from fogging when you use plastic glue or CA glue.
Ah, you see, I didn't realise that.
Yeah, that's quite possible. Yeah.
I've never used it, so yes, good point. Thank you.
Yeah, it's good to know those sort of things. And again, these are all with any hobby, with anything in life, you'll come across things that are like urban myths and all that sort of stuff. Oh, you must do this, you must do that, and like washing your sprues. I can't honestly say I've ever washed any sprues whatsoever.
I've washed maybe 5.
Have I come across a problem where if I'd washed it, I wouldn't have had the problem? Probably, if I'm honest. But I've never really taken much notice because I've come across a problem which I've had to resolve and I've resolved it, or not. Never really sat and thought about why it did what it did, if I'm honest. Yeah, you just tend to build the model, don't you? So, and we're talking about to Jim. He's also saying about the I hate saying this word,
Vlecha.
And a third generation water-based acrylics quite a bit. That's what he uses. He loves them. But there was a learning curve to understand the pros and cons. Yeah, see, that's exactly what I mean. I mean, bear in mind you have. So I'm looking at my paints here in front of me. So you've got model color, you've got mech color, you've got there's an airbrush ready version, and They've got certain. I mean, they're pretty much the same colors. They're just the properties of the colors are different. They might be a little bit more rich in pigment, or they've been, I'm going to say watered down, but I don't mean watered down. They've had a different process of making them, so they go through airbrushes easier, etc., etc. But they're essentially the same paint, but they all behave differently once you start mucking around with the properties in which that paint had. And I find it quite amazing that realistically, I don't know for a fact, but I'm guessing there isn't like I should imagine there's thousands of ways of making paint, but basically the properties are going to all be roughly the same, but just in different quantities. Yeah. So you're going to learn how to use that paint. You've got to learn, because there will never be. I don't think there's any brand company that you can say I can pick up that paint, I can spray it without any problems or issues ever, and there's no learning curve, because I think that's false. Yeah, it's false advertising.
I agree.
I think there are paints that are easier, and I think there are paints that will give you a relatively good coverage first time round, and there are some that you need to build up. But again, that's down to the properties of the paint, in my opinion. So Jim also says, haven't tried Life Color or Hataki water paint based paints. No. Now I've tried Life Color. I picked a set up some time ago now, and I have to say I wasn't impressed with them at all. I know there are some people out there that love them, think they're absolutely amazing. And again, it's just I haven't spent the time to learn how to use them. Simple as that. I have used Vallejo. I have used Humbrol. I have used Revel. I've used Scale 75. Two Thin Coats is another one. They're all water-based paints. And they mix quite well. Coverage, depending on how you mix them, goes well. If you airbrush them, some of them are a little bit better than others. But generally, you got to learn how to use them anyway. And like I was alluding to with the Humbrol and Revel, there are certain colours within those ranges that I think are bloody good. And certainly, I've tested the second generation Humbrol, and some of those paints I would honestly say they didn't give me any more trouble than any other paint I've used. That's not to say that they're as good as, that's just say they didn't give me any issues. But there are also some in the range that give me loads of issues and I don't like. But
then you can say that about every single range. There are paints in the Tamiya range that I despise using.
Yeah.
But then there's paints in there that are just amazing.
Yeah,
you're right. I agree.
I think metallic paints they generally are a problematic paint because of the format in which they are.
I would only use. I swear by Alclad.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I wouldn't use anybody else for metallic paints.
Yeah.
But that's my personal preference.
Yeah, no, that's right. And again, that's something that you've come across, you've used and gone, oh, I like that. You know, there are people, I mean, I use Model Color, and 9 times out of 10, I get a really good finish with it. I like it. It's fine. I haven't got a problem with it. But I'm aware that there are other products out there that are as good or better. But I've just never taken. What I tend to do is I tend to use a product, learn how to use it, and don't bother changing because I've learned how to use that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't see the point of buying a whole load of stuff and go, oh, God, it doesn't look right. Spend months figuring it out and then go, oh, okay, I know how to use this now. Because what happens is you pick up the paint that you had, go to use it and go, oh, that's crap. I don't understand. Why is it like that? And it's because you've changed the method. You've changed the methodology of what you're doing and you've not adjusted it. Or that's what happens to me anyway. And I'm shockingly crap at being able to change those things quickly. Gary Stuff has made a comment. He says, having a nightmare with SMS, have glass grey at the moment, ends up like powder. Ooh.
Okay, so Gary, I've had this problem with some of their paints before. It's because I use a lot of pigment in it, so it'll come out quite rough in certain areas where you can't get the airbrush in close enough. Because I think what it's doing is the paint is drying before it hits the surface, so it goes on like pigment, like powder, if you like. Yeah. What I find, and I'd like you to try, is once you finish painting it, grab an old pair of jocks or a t-shirt or something, a soft cloth, and just rub it back with that, and that'll get rid of all the bumpiness, and hopefully that'll help.
Also, if you don't mind me adding, John, turn your air pressure down on your airbrush. That also, it's very much like orange peel. Just because the way you do it is exactly how John says. Once you've done it, to recover it, you just get an old sock or something, and just, like you said, wipe, and that'll take the worst off. But to stop it in the first place, I've found that turn your air pressure down a little bit.
Glass grey, incidentally, is the colour of F-35s.
So Gary says he's going to try that. Thanks. His pressure is around about 12 psi.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Drop it down to about 10, maybe even 8.
It's worth a try.
Yep, I've found that works, but
it's the same. It's the same as
on your airbrush and your air pressure system. So
it alludes back to exactly what I was saying. You learn how to use things, and I've also found with, especially with the Model Color, depending on how I mix the paint, some colors that are a bit more rich in pigment maybe are a bit more temperamental than the others. And finding that sweet spot between them is sometimes a little bit of a problem. But again, it's a lot of, Gilmore Dragon says it's all about muscle memory. It's all about remembering how you do things and doing things without even thinking about it. If you watch him doing his painting and all that, he's a great painter. He'll mix painting on the fly, and it'll always be right. Because his muscle memory is what he's normal to do. And when I say on the fly, what I don't mean, he doesn't have like a bag of flies. He pulls one out and mixes paint.
Oh, okay, my mistake.
Another thing, James, is temperature and humidity.
Yeah, absolutely. Makes a big difference.
In my shed now, I can spray, for example, SMS, and it'll come out perfectly. John can do it at the same time, but in a different temperature, different humidity, and it'll fail miserably. We do everything exactly the same. So there's so many things that come into play with it. It's like, oh.
And talking about temperature, what do you know? One of the things that is one of the biggest changes of ability to do airbrushing that most people won't even think of is your compressor.
Yeah,
if your compressor's working really, really hard, it's going to generate heat in the room on the machinery that you're using. So when you do that first spray, when you get to like 2-3 hours down the road and you're still spraying, if you're lucky enough to be doing that amount of spraying, your equipment's going to be fighting you too, because it's all of a sudden the room's got warmer, the machinery isn't quite what it was. So you got that perfect spray, and then or vice versa, it's kicking your ass for the first few sprays, and all of a sudden it starts getting better. And there's definitely always that sweet spot. You're like, oh, this is going really, really well. And all of a sudden you go, like, what happened? I haven't done nothing different. And it's because of your environment that you're in changes. You're knocking out heat from your body for crying out loud.
No, we all have bad days. It's none of us are particularly good at this. Well, actually, James is, and Steph is, but I'm very much
don't you dare knock
ordinary, I
yourself.
think.
No, don't knock
No, I'll
yourself.
say, what would you say? Enthusiastic, but I don't consider myself a great modeler. That's for sure.
I
always learning.
Yeah, look at your ships. I wouldn't even attempt to do one of those. Yeah, you forget how good you are at certain things, and those ships you do, bloody hell, mate.
I think we all knock ourselves down. In fairness to me, we all do that. Anyway, let's get back to the chat. So Gary says, it's the colour for my Rebel F-35A. I've tried lowering the pressure too. Every day is a school day. Thanks, chaps. Absolutely. Good luck with that. Let's get on. Jeremy says, I have shot, have glass for MRP and SMS. About 5 psi. 8 psi.
Mr. Paint and Scale Model Supply. So two different brands of lacquer paint.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mr. Golden V says, I've had a problem with the SMS paint. I know they're supposed to spray from the bottle, but thin them with Mr. Level Thinner. Yeah, there is. Again, if I'm honest, I would potentially suggest to you that's a case of having to learn how to use the paint. And I mean that in the most politest way. No misrepresentation in that statement at all. And I know what that's about, because, I'm not a lacquer painter. I don't like lacquer paint. Which is odd considering I bought a load into the UK. But anyway, I'm not a fan of, I've never been a fan of it. It's just how I am. However, I have to say that what lacquer paint I have used has been pretty good. Pretty exciting stuff, really. But again, I've had to learn how to use it. I've had people that, certainly customers, have said to me, I've used like half a bottle of paint on this model. I don't understand why. And I'm like, really? Only do the 1/72 Spitfire. Why have we done that? And again, that's down to a little bit of overworking the paint, basically, because it's a new product. They're not quite sure. Is that right? Is that wrong? And with all paint, regardless whether it's lacquer or acrylic or any paint, you put a coat on and then you go over that coat and you build the paint up slowly. You don't whack it in one go because it don't work. Generally speaking, it's not designed to do that. You're meant to build the paint up slowly. But hence my comment about, someone once told me, probably not what you think either, but someone once told me that with lacquer paints, it's literally one spray over, one spray back, job done. No, I don't think that's the case at all. And I was told that all a long time ago. I think when I started getting my model color, and I didn't tell you, but the reason I got model color, the main reason, was that I picked up 40 odd bottles of it in one go from a shop that was closing down, and I got it really, really cheap. And that's why I got model color. And the reason I've still got it is because I've learned how to use it and I love it. But that's the truth. The only reason I got that paint was because it was I think it was a 75p a bottle or something like that at the time.
Wow.
And it was a big shop that was shut in, and I would have happily bought the whole range, but my wife was standing next to me at the time. So I had to be good. Anyway, we've gone right off on a tangent. Let's have a quick look. We've talked about that. Luca is there, and he says it's the same with Revell enamels for airbrush to prevent powdering. You need to thin it to hell and back and turn pressure all the way down. So yeah, so I certainly think bring your pressure down is going to be your first stop. I wouldn't say SMS needs to be thinned personally, but I probably could get shot down on that because I've not used it. So
I've never felt the need.
Give it a go, see what happens. Jeremy is saying adding a couple of drops of Mr. Level Thinner can help too. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, absolutely. So it's a case of playing with it. Just have a little bit of play. And this is a one thing that I will say. If you ever go into a model store or a show and you see a little box of bits of kits that they can't sell as a kit, so they're just selling the sprues off, pick a couple of those up. Or pick a kit up that's damaged that you got no interest in, because you can use it as a mule, you can use it as a test bed, for all those sorts of things. And it's a lot better to do that on a mule and play with your paint mixing and all that sort of stuff than doing it on a model with which you spent a lot of time investing time in. You need something you don't care about. Thank you for that, Jeremy. Julian is there saying morning, afternoon, evening, and delete the applicable. Indeed. He also says, I agree with that, with what James said. We're all our own worst enemies and critics. Absolutely. Definitely. Love yourself. Show yourself a little bit of love every day. And you can tell it any way you want. Mikey is saying, I like your tactical avoidance of my two last comments, James. Was there a tactical avoidance of your two last comments? What were they? I don't know what it was. Maybe I'm missing something. But anyway, I'll have a look in a bit. Julian says, no Aussies except for John, of course, who must be lacquered by now. Yeah, he's definitely lacquered. I don't know. Hang on. No, he's not shook up any paint. He's all right. Sorry.
No. Okay. So for people who don't know, people are tuning in, maybe don't know me. About a year ago or so, I was painting a thing, and I had these. I had a bottle of AKA Extreme Metal aluminium. And I had a metal mixing ball in it, and there was a problem with the glass. So it broke, and I was covered in silver paint, and immediately got the nickname the Tin Man. And there was something else, the Terminator, I think was one of them. There were a couple of things going around, but yeah, it hurts like a bugger when you get it in your eye, I found. But yeah, and I've still literally got paint everywhere to this day. Like, no word of a lie. It's everywhere.
So Julian's just saying I'm a newbie to modelling, but I think if it works, use it. If it doesn't, try something else. Yeah, no, it's definitely a good way of thinking. However, what I would say to you is, as a newbie, what I would say is shop locally, shop as cheaply as you can afford, or maybe the other way around. Actually, buy as best as you can afford. Certainly with tools. Don't skimp on tools. It doesn't always work. With that said, if your circumstances deem that to be what you need, then that is what you should do. Don't stress over it. And certainly, just remind yourself and be kind to yourself that everything you do, it's a learning curve, and it doesn't matter how many years you've been modelling. It's always a learning curve. I don't care what anyone says. Yeah. So, and as prolific as someone might think you are, you don't get it right every time. Trust me.
You can occasionally put things on backwards.
among other things. You could build a Sea King and paint it the wrong color yellow, even though you know damn well it's the wrong color yellow. But anyway, it is what it is.
Yeah, you can continually lose parts.
Yeah,
we've all got our own little foibles.
Yeah, absolutely. Lucas says also learned the hard way that it's very different to try paints on plastic spoons when everything goes perfect, and then you go to a model and get drying, bounce back, powder finish all over the corners. Yeah, absolutely. And this is a thing. I am. I've always tried to be very much a case of we'll try that in a real life circumstance, because under test situation, whatever it is, generally speaking, it's not real life. So if you're testing on spoons, you don't make models out of spoons, and the models aren't made out of the same plastic. I think there's going to be a difference. It seems sort of logical. There's going to be a difference. So testing. Don't get me wrong. Testing your paint on a spoon is a really good, easy way if you're trying to explain to somebody a technique or a new product, maybe. But even with a new product, really, it wouldn't hurt you if you're lucky enough to be testing those sort of stuff. Find a mule that you can use, because then at least you're using the same sort of process that you would to prove the point. Spoons are a bit of a funny one, really. Although I have done it myself. That was my finding. And yeah, there you go. Steph is just showing you his mule. So yeah. There's lots of, and especially with that as well, you tend to find, I mean, I know I had one. I haven't got one at the moment, to be honest. I must make one. But I had one, and it had all sorts of things done to it. It had weathering techniques and powders and paint and all sorts. It wasn't just a one-trick pony. It was everything. So I remember also when we're talking about paint, often you're priming your paint first, aren't you? Your product first. So there's very few occasions where you don't. So, and if something's made to go through an airbrush, generally speaking, and this is very generalized, but if it's made to go through an airbrush, it's not going to work very well with a hand brush, because it's not made for that reason. So don't get caught out. Julian says, I'm housebound, but I have a local shop. So to support them, I place an order with them for a friend to collect for me. I think if I can support a local shop, anyone can. Absolutely. And that's a great way. It's actually a great way to support a local shop as well, especially if you're housebound. And you can build that rapport with that business. They'll be more than happy to help you by pre-ordering things for you and all that sort of stuff. You can build that sort of relationship. So yeah, definitely you should always support your local shop. Unfortunately, my local shop is not there are very few things within it in which I could buy to show my support, but I still go in there. I'll go and buy some glue if I can, because I use the glue. Luke says testing shades of color with different base coats spoons are great. Yeah, that's true. But like I say again, remember the fact that the only difference between you painting your model and a spoon is that you base coated it in, I hope, the same product. But what I have seen happen where someone uses a primer over and over again, thousands of things, and then suddenly puts them on the spoon and it behaves differently. That does happen. So just bear that in mind. And certainly if you're looking to create certain shades, then obviously spoons that are primed in a product that you normally prime in are a good method, a cheap method, and should, you shouldn't discount them. Definitely not. So Nick's in. He said, "How do chaps? I got my challenge badge, James. Thank you. I'm glad you got my badge. Your badge. Yes, the word on it was spelled in a challenging fashion, but that's what makes it unique, Nick.
Yay, Mr. Lindsay. How goes
hello,
it, bud?
Yeah, I do know how that happened. I was in charge of it. That's how it happened. But anyway. What we got? So, Mr. Golden V says, when I restarted the hobby after a long hiatus, I bought 2 of the same kit because I knew mistakes would be made. I'm glad I did because there were many. Yeah, no, absolutely. And
I'd love to know what, after a long hiatus, what your first kit choice was. Let us know.
Yeah, you took the words out of my mouth, literally. That's good. David says, that's good service, Julian, and good on you for not taking the easy route and buying from big names. Absolutely. Absolutely. I may have skipped something here. I'm not sure. That's a good idea, Mr. Golden V. Oh, yeah, no, that's right. We talked about 2 kits. Right. Okay. So Julian just says there, when you're talking about spoons, I thought just coat them with different primers, then paint the same color on top, so you know what they look like with different color primers. Well, yeah, that's also very true. That is a good point. So certainly when you're looking at particular colors, a black primer would take away some of the would make it more dull, would take away some of the oomph of that color. So you might want to go with a lighter primer. Certainly with yellow, a pink primer is meant to be the bee's knees. It does really help bring out the yellow of it. But also remember that that works both ways. So when you're thinking about doing pre-shading and all that sort of stuff, you're using a black and a grey. So that obviously figures along with other stuff. So if you're trying to do a paint fade effect on your aircraft or vehicle, then obviously think about your primer, think about that sort of side of it, because that may help you and get you to that end goal quicker. I personally would put a colour on and then go over it with a lighter colour to bring out the edges rather than all the other bits and pieces you can do. But that's just my preferences. And again, that's not because it's better. It's just because I learned that process and I like that process. Nothing more. John, you are sat there. Are you thinking about going because of the time of day?
I'm more than thinking about going. I actually am.
Oh, okay then. Cool. I thought you might be.
Yeah, so I'm at the point where I'll take these pins off. Everything's pretty much together, so it's ready for. I'm not going to prime it because I'm using lacquer paint. So I don't necessarily need to prime it, so I won't bother. But it's not so bad. It's gone together okay. There's not much in the way of gaps that I need to fix, but there's a couple of seams like that I need to sort of address just at the base of the horizontal stabilizers and stuff. But it's okay. It's together. It's gone together. So yeah, I'm at a good point to stop. So it's 3 a.m. Sydney time. Time to bail, I think, and leave you guys in peace. And I'll see you for the next Aussie stream tomorrow at 2:30 from memory. I'll double check that. Let me check that. Let me check the local Sydney time, Eastern.
Yeah, you check your local time. Don't go by what that James does because he mucks it all up.
All right, it'll be 2:30 p.m. tomorrow.
Cool.
For us, but basically, as you know, this will continue to waft around towards Europe and waft into the UK, then waft past Sam, waft into New York and across before it gets all the way back to here again, because the Earth is not flat.
No, we like to do a bit of wafting, so that's good.
But it's been a pleasure, guys. Thank you very much. It's been looking forward to this for literally months, and it's a lot of fun. And thanks for everybody in the chat. It's always good to meet new people.
Yeah, the chat's been absolutely amazing. We've been up to around the 40 mark for the second episode, so that were really good numbers, really good, and lots of interaction. So that's fantastic. Yeah. John, have a good night.
Yeah,
take some good rest, and we'll see you tomorrow when you're about. All right.
Cheers, bye.
There's Bud. Look, he's falling asleep now.
Yeah, I can see him. I can see him going, notice that I'm here. Notice that I'm here. No. And there he is. He's gone.
And there he was. Gone.
Right. So I'm just going to quickly go through this chat. Where was we? So, okay. So, Mr. Golden V says, 570th Queen Mary by Revell. I assume that's what he's building. Or there may have been a question that I've missed. The chat has been so busy, it has skipped. I've missed a few comments, but trying to find them is a bit of a royal pain in the arse. So bear with me. Julian is saying at Dave, the honest nag, as James said, is your local shop doesn't always have what I need. No, that's true. It's true, but most shops, if you ask them, will maybe order some stuff in. It's not always possible to do it straight away, because remember, they'll have to have a minimum order. So there may be a particular company that they deal with or don't deal with even. So, yeah, there is always that. Mr. Edward Millership says, thank you, James, for reminders to check my compressor. Both airbrushes are both ready to go. Excellent. I like that. Yeah, mine needed a clean the other day, and that's the first opportunity I've had. So, Gary Stuff says, chaps, I know get different metal finishes on different panels by using different primers, then going over them with over the lot with an enamel paint. Absolutely. So this is what we're saying. And at the end of the day, and this is the part of the art of building that paint up, because sometimes by doing different color primers, etc., and then a light coat gives you that effect. If you flood over it, you lose that effect. Well, the more paint you put on top of it, you're going to lose more of that effect. So the less you use, the better effect you're going to get if you take that process. The only other ways, like I said, Gary, is doing the opposite, is putting a base coat down and then going over it with different bits. But certainly with metal finishes, you tend to find it's a lot easier to do the hard graft, if you like, the bit where you do the primers. That gives the best effect. We have got Nick saying, all good, Steph. The big move should be done next week, hopefully.
Nice.
So Duke is saying, catch you later, John. Nick is saying, catch you later, John. Everyone's saying, catch you later, John. Ta-ra, ta-ra, ta-ra. Luca is saying, yellow color is very tricky. Yes, it can be. So is red, as it happens. To get the right BCS, yellow pigments are highly transparent.
That's why they say do a pink underneath it, yellow and red. You get a really good color from that. Yeah. And I will be doing that on this, on the leading edges. So I'll be giving it a pink coat underneath and seeing how it comes out.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that'd be good to see. Edward is saying, XF52 disagrees with you, Mr. Marley. Good night, mate. John Mayfield says one of his local shops is Creative Models. Yes, they are a retailer and distributor, which is really handy if it's local to you. You get quite a lot. Can't get everything there, but you can quite a lot. Yasin19. Oh, hello. That's a new name. How are you? Thank you for joining us. Got the Tamiya 124th Honda City ready to go for tonight. Whoa! Nice. Even comes with a wee motorbike that goes in the boot. Wow. Okay.
Oh, excellent.
Interesting. Looking forward to seeing that. Whereabouts are you? Just out of curiosity. I assume you UK Europe way, I guess. Lucas just saying, also I tend to prime with black primer under white paints. I think it gives white a bit of depth. Yeah, absolutely it does. Yeah. Even if it takes longer to get the right cover compared to the lighter primers. No, you're right. I think, and again, it all depends on what you're building and what effect you want on that item, as to the whole approach, basically. Makes an awful lot. So Yoshin is in Edinburgh.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Nice to see you. Thanks for joining us.
Does he know Mr. Ewing?
Oh, I'm sure everybody knows Mr. Ewing. It's 37 people watching, going for 2 hours or so. I think it's time for a video. I have noticed, actually, I don't know if anyone watching has noticed, but there seems to be a couple of videos that aren't loaded properly for some reason.
Yeah.
Let's have a word from someone else.
Models for Heroes is a charity very close to our hearts here at Airfix. Modelling has always had something of a serious reputation for the time, dedication it takes to put together the perfect model. However, we believe that the journey is far important than the destination, regardless of how long it takes. Over the years, Airfix has proven we're more than just a business. Airfix is the foundation of a fantastic community which welcomes every modeller with open arms. We're proud that the modelling community is inclusive, accepting and endlessly helpful, and we vow to mirror these attributes in everything we do, especially our support for Models for Heroes.
Right, there we go. That's the big boss. Big boss has just actually been sending me some message saying wanted to thank everybody for their efforts and everybody that's tuned in for their interaction and all that sort of stuff. Saying it's going all very well. So he's obviously watching from the sidelines at the moment. He'll be in a couple of hours, I suppose, or so. Once he's finished doing what he's doing, a bit of time with the family, I hope.
He's still building.
I believe he'll be building with us at some point. I'm not 100% sure, but yes, no, he is definitely doing something because I remember what he's doing. So yes, we had a conversation about it. That's fine. Check your messages, Steph. I know you're busy standing or whatever, but check your messages, please.
All right, will do.
We are at a point where we this is the Australia New Zealand section, obviously. So the big boss is watching because he just sent me a message. I think he's got a M4H session till 10 tonight, so he'll be around after 10 o'clock, I think. So
cool.
So I've just messaged Steph, and Steph's just replied to that. I am going to end this session a little early because this is the Australia-New Zealand section of which everyone's gone to bed. Normally, we would this session would be populated with a few of the people getting ready for their builds in the Netherlands, etc. But we haven't had those people arrive because they've got other things to do. That's fine. And there you go. You got the man himself saying he's not watching. Oh wait, hang on a minute. Duke says he's still here. Yeah, no, I know some of you are, but I'm also conscious of the fact that some of our viewers are from that region, and you do need to tuck yourself up in bed because you need to be fresh and ready to rock and roll. I don't want you tired and falling ill. So there we go. And Gary just saying, yeah, just the Friday Skivers afternoon here. Yeah, absolutely. And Edward has just said, quite rightly so, James, don't forget to take a rest yourself. You've been going since early this morning on YouTube. I certainly have. And that is why I've been building up to tell you that we're going to bring this to a close very shortly. and take a little bit of a longer break. Because remember, we started an hour earlier than we were gonna, so you've had an extra hour there. And once you throw that into the mix, well, it's not really that much difference. So we are going to slope off. But before I do that, what I want to do is I want to just go over a few things with you, just to make sure that you're all singing from the same hymn book as per usual. So please remember, we are here to raise money for Models for Heroes, and the Just Giving page is there. You can write that down. You can also, at the end of every episode, there is a QR code in which you can scan. That QR code will make an appearance during the episodes. It's just something I've remembered and I've forgotten to upload as a picture so we can put it up there. But I will do that in a little while. But we're going to take a break, like I said. So, yeah, so you've got the Just Giving page. Make sure you don't make a donation. Please don't go overly mad and stretch beyond your means, because that's not the point. The point is you give what you can, and that money goes towards helping beneficiaries receive stuff from Models for Heroes and Models for Heroes to function. I'm going to go into a bit more depth about that in our next episode, because we're going to talk on the run up. We're going to talk about the money we raised last year, what we hope to achieve this year, what's the auctions are coming, etc., and we're also going to talk about what was the impact we made personally, this group, this event, your input made to Models for Heroes last year. We're going to do that about 6:30 UK time, so in a couple of hours time we're going to go through that. And also to remind you that all the information you need about us is on the web page, which is just there, all the W's, 48-48.org. You'll find all the information, all the links you need, all the timetable, etc. From Steph and myself, we're going to go off and have a bit of a break. I will be back a little bit later on. I think I'm going to have something to eat, and I'm certainly going to possibly put my head down for an hour or two, because I think I need to. And then I'll rally the troops up, and we'll be back at 6 o'clock to start our next episode with the run-up to getting our European friends up and running. They'll kick off an hour before the UK, and then we'll kick off definitely at 8 o'clock, and then we can get this party started. So please, as I said, please make sure you visit that. Why don't you go over to the Discord group, which I can tell you, because I'm going to look live now on my other mechanism over here, and tell you exactly what's going on in there. I know that there's still people in the group. They're running 10 till 10. Bless them. And I can tell you now that oh my good grief. There's quite a few people in there, actually. Oh, hello. We've got someone joining us for a second. We've got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. We've got 12 people in the Discord group, all making models and having a chat and a natter. I can see that I think majority of those are UK based, and maybe a European here and there. But yeah, so the Discord group is busy. Go over there and have a chat, find out what's going on, see if they've got any plans, and you can tell us later in the chat. Yeah. But for me and Steph, for now, I want to thank everybody so much for all of your hard work by being with us and supporting us. 40 to 50 people all the way through the last two sessions. So thank you so much. And we will very much see you very soon. Until then, au revoir.
Stay safe, keep modeling. Bye.